Welcome back to Talk of the Town on WHTC, Holland's Cool FM, on WHTC.com, and on the WHTC app for your smartphone. Once again, here's your host, Gary Stevens.
Welcome back to Talk of the Town for this Thursday, August 20th. It is the third Thursday of the month, which means we are joined, as we do on a monthly basis, by the retired Holland-area allergist, Dr. Ulf Hierlwimmer, on the other end of our phone line this morning. Ollie, good morning. Welcome back, sir.
Good morning to you and the staff and the listening audience.
If you have
and it's a beautiful sunny day, and that's something to be happy about.
If you have a question for Dr. Ulf Hierlwimmer, he'll be happy to answer it at 616-395-1450. Our conversation between now and the top of the hour will be for general information purposes only. For your own medical questions and medical situation, please confer with your primary care physician, family doctor, before undergoing any medical treatment ideas. So with that disclaimer in mind,
thank you.
Fall allergy season is right around the corner, and
right here now.
Dr. Sandra Hong, who's an allergist for the Cleveland Clinic, recommends those with allergy medications take them before symptoms start and allergy season hits. For children heading off to school, she recommends children shower and change their clothes before bedtime, saying as antihistamines should be taken as needed throughout the season, and change the furnace filter before turning the heat on for the first time.
Absolutely, yes, absolutely.
Any other tips?
The biggest pollen that afflicts us is the ragweed pollen, and it is blooming very nicely and causing a lot of symptoms, including not only itching and watering of eyes, the nose symptoms, nasal symptoms, throat symptoms with postnasal congestion, and also in my asthmatic patients, it can trigger allergic asthma, and that's a horrible problem. And I agree with the doctor from Cleveland Clinic. They're one of the top centers for allergy. They do recommend a preventative type therapy, trying to control the symptoms before they really get out of hand. And generally speaking, low dose antihistamine and the newer type of antihistamines that do not cause the drowsiness, unlike the old antihistamines, which we sometimes use mistakenly to induce sleep because they made you drowsy initially, but as the body got used to these old antihistamines, the sleep was not induced any longer, and so they became ineffective. But the new antihistamines are much better, much safer as far as driving with them, working with them in the occupation places, and so on.
Now, let me. Maybe, I don't know what I could say, dispel a myth. I'm not certain. Normally, we associate someone who is afflicted with an allergy, lots of sneezing, lots of coughing. But is sinus pain another sign of an allergy?
Yes. Because the sinuses are supposed to filter out some of these things, including pollens and so on, and they themselves get affected with symptoms, including drainage. And where does that drainage go, generally speaking? Into the nose, and then down the throat, and also inhaling we inhale some of these pollens and they go into the sinuses. So there, multi-system problems can result from allergies, and we all react differently. If we have allergies to pollen, for example, I have seen very mild symptoms develop. I've seen moderate symptoms, and I've seen severe symptoms. I think it's based maybe on genetics and also the environment we're living in. If you're living in urban areas and the wind is coming out of the west where the ragweed is blooming and so on, that certainly will affect you in the city. And ragweed has been studied time and time again as one of the worst pollen allergies. And we now are detecting so many other substances that can trigger the allergic reaction, which is just amazing. New things are always on the horizon that can trigger, in some people, allergy reactions. And one of the ones that really puzzled us initially was the alpha-gal allergy, which came from the bite of the Texas tick. Okay? What did it cross-react with, that bite and that thing that they injected in you, the tick injected in you? It was a crossover from beef protein, the alpha-gal protein in beef. Some people actually became allergic to beef. And I've met several patients in my career that had beef allergy. At first I thought, oh my gosh, this is strange. This is strange. And they had lived in the South at one time, and they mentioned it. And from what I understand now, this Texas tick is moving northward because of warmer and warmer weather and so on. It likes warm weather, hot weather.
Mm-hmm. And that's what we get. That's what we have in summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what we get in summer. Now, let me bring up a topic. We've talked about this in the past. I'm going to revisit it because it's been a while, and we used to, a few years ago, there was a lot of advertising for what they call the Navage Naval Irrigation Kit.
Yes.
Don't see that many ads now. I'm not certain whether or not the popularity has gone down, but it does pose a question about rinsing your sinuses, either with the Navage or with the neti pots. Is it safe?
It is safe if you use distilled water. You have to buy distilled water. And I've recommended distilled water only because it's free of the bacteria. We don't want to use ordinary tap water because there are some germs in the water. And distilled water is the safest water to use intranasally. And yes, I think it is a terrific method, and it has to have also a little bit of salt in it, sodium chloride, because our body is regulated as far as strength of water with sodium and so on, sodium chloride. And that liquid, yes, will rinse out the sinuses, will rinse out the nasal passages, make it more comfortable to breathe, and it helps reduce some of the swelling from allergy reaction, because that's the big thing. inflammation results with the allergic reaction. And we want to reduce inflammation, basically.
Yeah, quick question. I'm looking over this and I'm seeing not only put the cup of safe lukewarm water with a quarter teaspoon of non-iodized salt,
Right,
non-iodized,
right.
and also a pinch of baking soda.
Baking soda helps, yes, because it neutralizes some of the acid, the bicarbonate ion. Reduces some of the acid that's also involved with the allergic reaction.
Yeah.
It neutralizes. Let's say it neutralizes the tissue.
A couple of other things they mentioned is the fact if you got, the neti pot especially, wash it after every use.
Yes.
And replace about every 3 months, if it's a plastic or a silicone one.
Yes. Exactly. And they, they make the silicone nasal sprayer device, and that's commercially available. There's trade names and so on. Mm-hmm. And every pharmacy carries those devices. And while we're on the topic, some of my asthma patients had to use and still use nebulizers. And the same is true with the nebulizer machine. Use the distilled water. And the medication that you put into that cup for the compression, for the vaporization, is sterile. And it's the proper medication to help keep the lungs open, the airways of the lungs open, because that's the treatment of choice. We've got to open up those airways so you can get inflow of air, refresher air, and so on. And again, use distilled water because it has no real bacteria in it. It's as sterile as you can get from the standpoint of everyday use.
If you have a question for Dr. Ulf Hierlwimmer, 616-395-1450. For the kids, it is indeed vaccine season. For those of us who are adults, we're getting closer to the vaccine season, most notably with flu and with COVID. Yes.
And COVID already has started for the year. And especially in areas where there's been lots of heat. These viruses love heat, and they love the moisture in us and the nutrients in us that keeps them growing. And I'm definitely an advocate, especially in young people and in older people like us, like me, especially. Why? Because when the baby is first born, it obtains its immunology or immune system from mama. Whatever mama had, as far as diseases and so on, the antibodies that she developed crosses over to the developing baby, and so the baby is safe for a few months. Then, all of a sudden, that immunity from mama drops out. And that's the most dangerous time for babies, because years ago, the first 2 or 3 months or 4 months of life were pretty good. But then, after that time, about 2 children out of 3 or 2 children out of 4 never reached age 1 because their immune system was trying to develop, but it was bombarded by so many other things, especially bacteria at that time, and also, yes, viruses. And you just have to look at the history of the plague. Those people that developed antibodies when they were younger by themselves, a lot of them survived, but the very young didn't survive, and the old didn't survive. At least 1/3 of Europe was wiped out by the plague, or even more, and that's a bacteria, and that's carried by the rat flea. And so in summertime, the rat flea was so dominant, okay, and in the wintertime, when the rat went indoors, that was also a problem. So they were always exposed to the bacteria. Mm-hmm. And if a young child had developed antibodies to it, slowly but surely, they would survive. But older people like myself, our immune system is weak. It really is weak. And the only thing that sort of rejuvenates it are the vaccines. And that's why we need more discussion on vaccines than ever before, because sooner or later, Mother Nature throws mutant strains at us of viruses, bacteria, and so on. And that means the immune system has not seen these things before, and it needs to see things in order to build up resistance.
Right.
But if it is exposed to too much, it will hurt you. If it's exposed in a vaccine in a very small dose, you will build up resistance. You will tease the immune system into building up resistance, but it has to be a small dose. And guess what we're doing with food allergies? We're finally doing what we actually started doing years ago. And I had the privilege and honor of, in the Navy, of seeing young children with peanut allergy, citrus fruit allergy, and so on, okay, besides regular allergies to pollen and so on. And what we did, and we had the pleasure of keeping the patient in our clinic all day long. Mm. You can't do that in private practice.
No.
All day long. And when we did, we started off with such small doses of peanut, for example. Okay? And we did that every 30 minutes. Very, very small dose we started with. And we observed. The nurse helped us observe the patient. Mm. And we were ready with adrenaline, just in case of a reaction.
Yeah, indeed.
And lo and behold, at the end of the day, the patient could start tolerating already a little bit more, okay? Mm-hmm. And then what we did, about 2 days later, we had them come back. And we started again with a low dose. And that's how you have to do it. Mm-hmm. You have to take the time to tease that immune system into acceptance.
Only we got about 5 minutes left in our segment today, and I want to touch upon a subject that I'm not certain whether or not it's going to be anything we have to worry about around here, but they are worrying about it over in New York. Rabbit fever. They aren't saying about how the person was infected. Been 4 infections, likely linked to ticks. It could be spread through contact with infected animals, bites from infected ticks, or through undercooked rabbit meat. Therefore, rabbit fever. About 200 cases a year nationwide.
Yes. Anthrax type situation. Yes. There is such a thing as called anthrax, and every now and then it comes forth. And our immune systems have never seen it or have had little exposure, unless you hunted for rabbits and ate rabbit meat. Like in Europe, rabbit meat was a staple in post-war West Germany, where I lived, and it was delicious meat. But you were right. These animals can carry bacteria like we do, and they can cross over to humans, viruses, bacteria, etc., and we have to be on the lookout for that. And that's why we do need surveillance by the CDC. And that's what we have to pray for, and we have to be notified when anything like that happens, because it will spread, and either through tick bites, mosquito bites, and so on.
A quick question. Do you know off the top of your head what symptoms should we look for on this?
The fever, the chills, the muscle aches, sometimes even breathing problems. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering what to look for. I know, again, they say only about 200 cases a year nationwide, but if you're afflicted by it, it's 1 out of 1. If you're not afflicted by it, it's that it's rare, but still.
Right. But still, if you're one of the people that gets it, it's 100%. It's like Lyme disease. We don't think about it until you get it. Oh, the Lyme disease causes so much inflammation. That's the dangerous part of all these things. Inflammation is the killer of the immune system. The overreaction on the part of our immune systems triggers more and more inflammation or swelling of tissue, and that's detrimental to our whole system. And we're finding more and more diseases are triggered by inflammation. And even research is going into Alzheimer's being caused by inflammation. Can you imagine that? That's incredible. And cancers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
We're learning more.
It's amazing, but we still have to learn,
And we're continuing to learn more and more as we go along. We're out of time on this.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah. We're out of time on this. We're out of time of the segment. I appreciate you joining us, and we appreciate you joining us, Dr. Ulf Hierlwimmer, helping us our health. And if all goes well, let's do this again in the month of September.
And as always, God willing, right?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Dr. Ulf Hierlwimmer, on WHTC Holland's Cool FM. Coming up, top of the hour, it will be Michael Kastner's NBC News, followed by WHTC News. One more hour of Talk of the Town to go, including Brian Spencer's What's New Around Holland, about 20 after. And then at the bottom of the hour, if all goes well, we'll be joined by Holland First Ward Councilman Tim Freeman. You're listening to Talk of the Town on WHTC Holland's Cool FM.